Shanghai, China, the Paris of the Orient. In newsreels of the 1920s and 30s, life here looked fun, an exotic mix of East and West. The reality of China was different. Most Chinese lived in the country, where their lives continued largely untouched by the 20th century. But the people of China were about to be engulfed in years of violent conflict, years which would dramatically change their country and their lives. In these years, China's leader, Chiang Kai-shek, faced two major threats to his power. The communists, led by Mao Zedong, and the Japanese. They controlled most of North China and planned a full-scale invasion. Many Chinese demanded that Chiang's government fight Japanese aggression, but he was afraid the Japanese military would crush China, and he refused. In December 1936, anti-Japanese feeling boiled over and created an astonishing crisis.
It started. The Marco Polo Bridge, a few miles southwest of Peiping.
On July 7, 1937, fighting broke out on this bridge between Chinese and Japanese troops. Within days, Japan launched a full-scale invasion of China. It was the beginning of World War II in Asia. The Japanese easily overpowered united Chinese resistance. They took Beijing in days, and then Tientsin. The Japanese swept inland. In October 1937, they arrived outside Meihua village, a few miles from these scenes.
Japanese devils entered our village from the west side. They started killing and burning their way through the village. They were just brutal. They killed 46 families and even every animal they saw. Then they got to my home. We were hiding in the cellar. Japanese devils shot into the cellar. We children all cried, "I want to get out, I want to get out." When my father got up, 3 devils stripped him to the waist and tied him up. He was tied up with more than 10 other men.
I was put in the pit. It was full of people. They'd been there a long time. The Japanese kept bringing more and more people. I was there for hours. Later, about another 200 people were pushed in. The pit was full. Bullets were whistling. A bullet hit my hand. Felt numb and hot. It didn't hurt. I didn't move. It got dark. I ran away.
The Japanese killed and burned for 3 days and nights. Then they left. My grandfather and mother started looking for my father's body. They found it in that big pit. There were bullet holes in his chest. He was killed by the Japanese devils.
When I got home, I pushed the door open. It was quiet. No one was there. I wondered what had happened to them. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find them. I went outside. I saw that there was fresh earth in the courtyard. I thought someone must be buried in it. And I went over to the well. The winch had been torn out. People were in there, too. I asked a couple of people to help me. I found my grandmother, mother, and 2 sons buried in the earth. I pulled my wife and 3-year-old out of the well. I hadn't seen them for just a few days. And now none of them could ever talk to me again. It was too horrible. I buried them. That's all.